Y'all, it's your Captain Falcons Creative coming at you with Love is Blind Season 7, Episode 10 through 12 review. If you're new to this channel, welcome. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you're returning, thank you so much for rocking with us. We get into a lot of things and it's been very busy this month, but we definitely wanted to check in about all the drama with Love is Blind before the reunion this week. Also, it's voting early time. If you can vote early, that is wonderful. If you're not registered to vote, make sure you get registered and make a plan to vote. And just know that this is history in the making, right? So let's get into the Love is Blind drama. We're going to start with Tyler and all the lies and all the exes and baby's mother stories coming out. Then we'll get into Ramses and the breakup with him and Marissa. And then we'll get into Taylor and Garrett's wedding because I'm not talking about Tyler's lying wedding. And then we'll talk about the other breakups from episode 10 through 11, like Tim and Alex and Hannah and Nick. So let's start with the lying Tyler and all that drama. When I tell you, we were just looking at the tip of the iceberg last time when we were talking about, the grandmother coming out with the pictures of Tyler in the matching pajamas and his kids. That was just the tip of the iceberg. So Bri, who was the mother of Tyler's 3 children, first came out, and she basically confirmed that the twins that she had with Tyler were conceived naturally and unplanned because her and Tyler had lived together and were kind of, trying to make a somewhat nuclear family. She did say that, they weren't dating, but they were living together and clearly having relations. And she was happy for him to go on the show and find I guess, love story of his own, because she had said that they basically had an open relationship / co-parenting. So she was happy for him. She talked about maybe even coming to his wedding with the kids. So Tyler had no reason to lie about the kids. The main, thing that Bri said was that she was aware that he was going on the show. She was happy for him. They sent him a happy birthday video, at the pods. So the fact that she hasn't received child support from him and he hasn't spoken to the kids for a year allegedly was heartbreaking and shocking to her. So she's gonna go forward in court to go get her child support. And I say, get money, girl. Now the plot thickened when Bri's ex-wife came on Jesse Wu's channel with Storytime with Ricky. Shout out to them. And spilled even more of the tea and basically just pointed out the parts of the story where Bri had maybe, embellished or left out things to make herself look better. Bri's ex-wife claimed that because Bri's in the military, she could get in trouble for infidelity and things like that. So that's why Bri made it seem like she was left and abandoned by her ex-wife, which made Tyler, come in the picture to save the day. But Bri's ex-wife basically said that she did not leave the picture. She basically said she was cheated on when she went away for 2 weeks on a baby moon, which was questionable because she wasn't a pregnant one and she does have a child of her own. So I don't know why she went away so close to Bri's due date, because she basically said when Bri picked her up from her solo baby moon, she gave birth on the way back. So that's how Tyler ended up in the hospital and everything with the baby. And she said Tyler and Bri teamed up to take custody away from her because originally she was on the birth certificate because her and Bri were married, and so the children were supposed to be both of theirs, but she said she gave up after seeing that Tyler and Bri teamed up against her. She also said that Tyler's character has always been questionable because since when she knew him, he had another fiance that he was cheating on all the time, allegedly, because allegedly he's in a friend group with a cuckold who liked to pass around his wife to all of his friends. So Tyler regularly was engaging in group relations with this friend and his wife. And when she asked them about it, I guess Tyler said that Bri didn't participate, but she would watch and allegedly pleasure herself, which is given a lie. But that's all the drama, basically. So Tyler apparently also is a security guard who showed off the fact that he made six figures to them to get them comfortable with the fact that he would support the kid. But then again, they allegedly have not seen child support. So it's a mess. And I did not want to see that wedding at all because it's all based on lies. But actually, Bell Hooks talks a lot about lying in her book, All About Love. And she interrogates what factors make it so that a lot of men not only lie more than women, but they tell bigger and more painful lies, like Tyler hiding his kids and lying to his fiance about being faithful. And now, Bell Hooks explained that lying is a way that otherwise equal and consensual relationships get power imbalances because the man maintains the leg up over the woman he's lying to and is able to manipulate her because of the intentional lack of knowledge that they're creating with their lies. So especially for men like Tyler, who's a security guard, he probably had dated more powerful and prominent women, so maybe to safeguard against feeling emasculated by the economic role reversals, he seems to lie to these successful and beautiful women constantly for ego purposes, if not some deeper pathological lying issue. So I am hoping that by the reunion, they get to some level of, clarity for Ashley, because she doesn't deserve any of this. And unless she's with the shenanigans and it's okay with him, being a deadbeat dad to his kids, and okay with, him lying by admission to her all along, we can't do nothing for her. So hopefully, they're able to really confront the issues at the reunion. And it would be nice if Bri and the kids are there. That would be really, really cool. Ramses, who also seems to have been lying to Marissa about his feelings, probably came on the show just to be on TV and have relations, but because of the way he jumped into physical intimacy so fast during the honeymoon, with no protection and no qualms, but then now suddenly that it's time to commit, he's flipping the script on Marissa episode 12. So I really did not like seeing Marissa cry like that. That hurt me personally. And he was just stabbing her in the back, wearing a man thong facing the camera. It was just a sight that we all never needed to see again because they didn't show us a lot of the fights. And just her crying like that, begging him to stay. It was so just traumatic. And I had wanted to give Ramses a chance because he's half Guyanese and my family's from Guyana. But I can't believe that he's Guyanese anymore because Ramses wound up being so two-faced about hearing Marissa's army stories in the pod, but then flipping the script on her about it being kind of a deal breaker if she goes to the army. And he was acting progressive about Palestine, but then turned into this very closed-minded person about women's health when he dug his heels in the ground about wanting to not use condoms and not understanding why she didn't want to go on birth control. It's just all too much. So I'm glad that Marissa's away from him because she said herself that she would stay 5 to 7 years in a bad relationship. So I think God was protecting her because Ramses is selfish to the end and she was in shambles. So I hope that her mother is at the reunion to get on Ramses and ask him some questions and just dig into his thong about why he acted like that. So that's something I would love to see. But Ramsey needs to sleep in with one eye open because Marissa's mom was already clocking his tea. Or the only couple I care about is Taylor and Garrett. And between them, I really mainly just care about Taylor. Garrett also lied for no reason about that text message from the ex and saying that he just liked it, but then saying that he, texted her back saying he don't want nothing to do with her, which is weird to me because it's like the saying that he wanted nothing to do with the ex was even better than liking the text. So I don't know again if he lied to have some power over Taylor, make her feel jealous or something, but it's too much. I don't like it. And it was given that him and Steven were talking about, people messaging them for a reason, because that's a little sneaky on his part, but he cleaned it up. Taylor's okay with it now. Glad that situation was resolved. To be honest, I did get teary-eyed seeing Garrett and his mom hug and get emotional because I'm a boy mom. I was just imagining like my son going off and getting married. That was really, really cute. That's the only time I saw it for Garrett because of his mom. But yeah, I'm basically on the fence about Garrett, but I'm glad Taylor's finding her happily ever after because she's gonna stick beside him. Her dress was okay. It was interesting. Her makeup was great. I'm glad that, the text message gate happened though, because she was able to say her boundaries and set her expectations that if anybody messaged him, he needs to cut that stuff off real quick, and he agreed to that. So that was her opportunity, to tell him how to treat her and teach him how to treat her. And I think that's great that, now he knows the rules when it comes to Taylor. And I really think that it was the only wedding that most people cared about. So let's get into the rest of the breakups from episode 10 through 12. Before we talk about Tim and Alex's breakup, let's talk about Alex's glow up because I'm loving her haircut. She done found the scissors under the rubble pile. She found, some nice clothes that she's been posting on Instagram inside the messy piles in her house. Hopefully she got it cleaned up now. But Alex looks good. She is the best glow up to me from this season. But I really think that Tim totally broke up with Alex because he didn't like her ways. That's what we call it in my culture. You have to like people's ways. It's more about how they are naturally every day on the day to day. And if you can manage that, you can be together. And I think some people are giving Tim grief for not telling Alex what he wanted, not telling her what to do. But at the end of the day, I understand that you do want to see who people are naturally and see their character before marrying them. And some people could call it testing the person. But I would disagree because I think there are more obvious, ways that people can, show you who they are. But if you're just observing, that is probably the most like non-confrontational way to do it. And I think that's the path that Tim took, just observing. He could have set active tests and traps, but I don't think he did. He just watched her. He saw her messy house. He saw her not wash the dishes after he cooked for her family. He saw her sleeping all the time and being lazy, and he's like, that's not for me. And I understand because that would annoy me too if I'm doing all the cooking and cleaning. If the person is not high energy, just sleeping all the time, like he don't want that. So I get it. And I think on Alex's part too, I don't think she particularly liked him. I mean, they had that fight where she was covering his mouth, and in the scene she didn't deny, but now after the fact she's denying that she covered his mouth. She's saying she just shushed him, and that's not giving a happy honeymoon. And the honeymoon phase is supposed to be nice, so they were fighting since the honeymoon phase. I think Tim wrote her off from since that fight. He clearly said that he did want to leave, but he gave her a second chance. And then after the second chance, he saw again the messy house, the sleeping all the time. Like they were cheating for each other. And I don't think Alex liked all the dead sister talking, like that would have creeped me out, giving her the dead sister's bracelet and all that stuff. Like he, I think, needs more therapy to get over the loss of his sisters, because even their conversations in the pod, they weren't romantic. It just seemed like he was trauma dumping about his sisters, and he has the right to grieve for them, but I don't think, he's ready for Alex. So again, them two, they were not for each other, so I'm not mad at their breakup. I think Tim was mean to say, I don't ever want to see you again. You're gonna see her again at the reunion, clearly, so why, add all this extra animosity? But he had enough. The way she just kept eating her food when he broke up with her made it seem like she also didn't really like him, so she didn't mind. She wasn't crying and sliding down the wall like Marissa, so she didn't care. But I think she did care and was upset about him, you know, getting her father emotional and on board like that. And even at the Great Gatsby looking party, she told the girls that, yeah, she's very upset about him, you know, talking to her father and asking for her hand like that, knowing that he was checked out. So I think Alex and Tim gonna have an interesting conversation about that. She might even demand an apology to her father. I want to see it. I think Tim is gonna maybe just try to pay her dust, because he said that stuff about not want to see her again, and he paid her dust at the party. So even though Alex might bring smoke for Tim, I think Tim is just gonna keep on being disengaged. But I hope he does take responsibility for lying to her father like that, because from what I saw, he had checked out from the honeymoon. As for the other glow up, people saying Hannah had a glow up. She admitted to going on Ozempic for like 2 weeks, but she said it made her sick, so she stopped. But she lost the weight. But again, Hannah's attitude is just so ugly. Like, I don't think the problem was her looks at all. Like, I think she was more self-conscious about how big her back was and all that stuff. But it's her attitude that made her nasty and ugly to watch. Like, she was so mean to Nick. And I understand that Nick definitely has a lot of growing to do when he was asking about, boiling the water and all that stuff. But, like, the way she would talk to him, like, even when he just got home from work, is not, no, hi, how are you? It was like, do you even know how to take out the trash? Do you even know how to clean? Do you know how to do this? Like, she was always very condescending and talking down to him, and nobody deserves that. And even when he was like, Kat, I would like you to treat me like equal, she's like, no, I'll treat you like an equal if you do this. That's not how that goes. Everybody deserves to be treated with respect. And that line about her turning him from a boy to a man, it was all too much. Hannah was dreadful. And just the fact that she also said that he explicitly said that he did not want to talk about their sexual activity on camera, and she constantly talked about it and then shamed him for not, going down on her. It was a lot. Like, I don't see how Hannah thought that what she was doing was right. But at the end of the day, there are people saying that Nick was a little two-faced, especially Hannah's brother apparently came out saying that he spent the night with Hannah and Nick, and the brother claims that he was putting on a front on camera, but behind the scenes, he was a lot more, I guess, negative than the edit gave him. So we shall see at the reunion, but at the end of the day, I don't think what Hannah was doing was right. I think Nick also has some growing up to do, but he's tried to treat her with respect. He's clearly loved and pampered at his home, so he's not going to leave his home unless somebody treat him worse than his parents. I mean, he's been around the world, and he came back home because he has love there. And I think there's a level to Hannah that's a little resentful of that. And that was the last couple that had a lot of drama. Stephen and Monica Ben fell out because Stephen might have a sex addiction. And just say how you feel in the comment, and let's get to the reunion. Bye.